we're back.
Woo.
Everybody, it is time to roll.
With the troll.
Yeah, and the voice of reason, of course. Listen,
Thank you.
Today we are ranking the senseis. Now, I don't want there to be any confusion. We're not ranking them in terms of, like, just who our favorite is or in terms of, like, you know, who's the most enjoyable character. We're actually ranking them on their merit as a sensei.
As a sensei.
Right?
In their ability to teach.
Yes, their ability to get results. Not just teach, but to teach effectively in terms of what leads to a successful student. So this is a very different conversation than if we were just saying which of the senseis are like our favorite characters, right?
Right, exactly.
Totally different ball game here. So we don't necessarily have to like the sensei. Now, there are only going to be 5 senseis that we're going to talk about. The 5 that have gotten the most screen time on Cobra Kai. We are not counting Sato.
No.
And we are also not counting Chosen.
Right.
And I think our reasons for that are pretty fair. It's racism. You know, we just want to keep them. I'm completely kidding. Yeah, we're going to keep them out just because we don't have a lot of information on them as senseis.
There's not enough data on them as senseis to evaluate them, so it wouldn't be fair.
It wouldn't be. I workshopped a little bit of Chosen because in a way I thought, well, we saw Chosen in season 3 dealing with Daniel, and I thought, yeah, but it was one episode, and he's working with Daniel, not really a formal student.
He sure did teach Daniel, though.
Yeah, he definitely did. It's just, it's really hard still to factor him in with the rest of them. So, and frankly, even Terry Silver, we don't know that much about his sensei skills.
I think we have enough data on him, though, too.
Enough, barely. Yeah. But the other 4, of course, we have way more, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, in case it's not clear, Mr. Miyagi, John Kreese, Johnny and Daniel are the other 4, and then we're going to include Terry Silver here as well.
Yeah.
So let's just quit dicking around.
Yeah.
And let's get right to, we're going to start at the bottom. Who is your number 5? Who's at the bottom of this list?
Should we say our number 5s at the same time? Number 5, of course, would be...
All right, ready?
Daniel.
Kreese. Oh, wow. Daniel's at the bottom for you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kreese is my at the bottom of my list. Let's talk about this. Why Daniel at the bottom?
I think that of the 5, Daniel is he's more of a copycat. He really struggles with figuring out his own way and his own style and the best way to teach kids. And he is so invested in honoring Mr. Miyagi that he duplicates everything that Mr. Miyagi did, and it doesn't feel like it's Daniel's yet.
It's a damn good point.
I feel like he has not come into his own yet as a sensei.
That's a good point, but does it matter that Daniel also has had some effectiveness? I mean, that's what we're after. It's not so much originality.
He has. But I'm going to have to take away some points based on him not... He's just not growing into his own sensei skin yet.
Very interesting take. Okay, I hadn't thought about the lack of originality. Yeah, he's wildly the least original, right? Yeah. Yeah, not even close. So that's a... Well, then again, I don't know. Johnny has taken a lot from Kreese's teachings, though. In fact, he was even using exact quotes. Remember, he was plagiarizing in season 1. Like,
oh, sure.
What is the problem, Mr. Diaz?
Yeah, but it seems like it really ended there with Johnny. Like, I mean, you know, he's got the slogan on the wall. Yeah. And he repeats some of the phrases that Kreese said, but as far as his actual teaching, he's... Well, okay, I don't want to give too much away when we get to where Johnny ranks, so we can go over that when we get there. But so you have Kreese at the bottom.
Before we get into that though, just keep in mind Johnny goes by feel. You know, some days he'll find a hornet's nest for them to kick. I love that line from season 4.
That was fun.
That was great. Okay, yeah, I'll explain myself. I put Kreese at the bottom, and I've felt this way for a while. We don't know that much about Terry Silver, but from what I'm seeing, Kreese has a lot of consistent students who keep losing, that go nowhere.
I could see your logic in that.
And he only really, I mean, think about it. We found out in season 4 that Kreese had actually been teaching when the tournament first began. Remember, he showed Terry Silver the flyer, and he said they just started while we were gone.
Yeah.
So I guess he came in on like the second year, right? So, or maybe the first year, whatever it was. But Kreese only won when Johnny won those 2, I guess it was 2 years
that we know
Johnny
of,
won. Yeah. And he might have won elsewhere, but it doesn't sound like it. I get the impression he loses a lot, and we see him lose a lot. We see him lose a lot. I mean, his star student lost to Daniel, who came out of nowhere in 85 or 84, whatever it was, 84. And I just don't get the impression. I'm looking at him now, and he's got a bunch of students who, although Tori did very well, he's got a lot of students who are just not that great. Like Kyler, for example. Kyler's been there a while.
Yeah.
You know, and Hawk, well, I guess Hawk didn't really fight under him, did he? It was under Johnny. Anyway, I don't find Kreese to be, I think he's a one-trick pony. How about that?
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he's very versatile. I think it's more his way and nothing. And I don't think he's particularly effective. I don't think he wins tournaments unless there's some cheating going on. So let's move on to our number 4. You want to say them at the same time again?
Sure.
3, 2, 1. Terry Silver. Okay, so you put Kreese near the bottom too.
Yeah.
Same reasons?
Yeah, pretty much. Mostly more so though because he can be so evil.
Okay, well again, you're giving.
No, I know, but that's not a good thing to teach when you're teaching kids.
Now we're talking about winning and losing. That's okay.
We're talking about effectiveness, and teaching evil practices is part of that.
Okay. All right. I hear you. Well, I do put Silver there, mainly because we don't know that much about Silver. I got to think he's better than Kreese because he's teaching so much in season 4 about strategy and about mind games. And he won that little contest with Kreese where Kreese kept choosing the tougher students. Yeah, and then in the end, and granted, he only won on a double or nothing, but Silver beat him because he used Kenny to outsmart him. So I get the impression Silver is not only a better fighter, and he's more top dog when it really comes down to it, and not their military rankings. Yeah. But I think Silver is, he seems to be the smarter one with his head more in the game. And a better understanding. So I think he's probably the better sensei, which is really embarrassing to Kreese because Kreese was the sensei for years and years and years, and Terry Silver never was. He was the money behind it.
Right, exactly.
So that's particular. That makes Kreese even worse. That he's got more experience as a sensei than anybody, and I still put him at the bottom, and you put him near the bottom.
Yes.
All right, number 3. You ready for this one?
Yep. Terry
Daniel.
Silver.
Okay, so we're similar. We've got the same bottom 3. You had the same 3 guys at the bottom that I do.
Yeah, except that mine are right.
Well, that's debatable. You guys let us know in the comments who's right. By the way, this is a nice time to remind you to like, no matter who your favorite sensei is. Yeah. Like, subscribe, click the bell. Anyway, so I'm saying Daniel on this in the number 3 position out of the 5. So Daniel's right in the middle for me. I had a tough time thinking where to place Daniel because he's got so much good and so much bad. There's reasons I almost could have put him a little higher. There were more reasons why I could have put him lower like you did. I think Daniel is unbelievably moody. I didn't care so much about the fact that he was stealing from Miyagi so much. I just think Daniel is remarkably moody. And I don't think he necessarily, with the exception of the fact that he coached Hawk to a great victory, I don't really think he instills lessons that win. I think he just instills lessons that he personally believes in because of Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
I think he's doing more for Mr. Miyagi's memory than he is for these kids winning tournaments and fights. Yeah. That's how I see it. Daniel's in love with his lessons and the past with Miyagi, and that's what he's pushing on these students. And I relate things to music a lot and rock bands. This is like the rock band that they really want to honor their singer who passed away. And they really want to honor their first couple albums, but now they're 10 albums in and they just suck. And I think that's Daniel. So what's your take here?
So Terry Silver, to me, really proved himself as a sensei in that last season that we had him. Because he was really demonstrating that he's got a really good grasp on deeper levels of martial arts than just the physical. And he really taught the students, different ways of fighting, like psychologically. And that's important as a sensei. He brought something new to the table, new lessons for them that are going to benefit them in more than just karate. I think that he's right up there. So he's my number 3.
Understandable. Okay, so we each had those 3 guys in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
That means all that's left for the top 2 spots.
Yep.
For both our lists are Johnny and Miyagi.
Yep.
So let's see what happens. All right, count of 3. We're both going to say our number 2. Ready?
2.
1, 2, 3. Johnny. Okay, so I guess we both landed on Johnny number 2.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Miyagi is number 1.
Yes.
That's why Miyagi's got that shit-eating grin. In our thumbnail here, look at him.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's like, aha, I knew it all along.
I knew I was number 1.
Well, let's talk about why did you put Johnny at number 2?
really for the same reason that I put Daniel down at the bottom, but the opposite. Johnny is very creative and innovative with his teaching, you know. He comes up with really creative lessons on the fly. You know, the kids are pissing him off and they're being disrespectful, and he tells them, you meet me at such and such tomorrow morning, and bam, he shows up with a cement truck, you know, like he just, and he made the arrangements and got that all, and then it wasn't just a
thanks
punishment.
to Cutter.
Yeah, thanks. Oh God, why did I bring up Cutter?
Cutter.
It wasn't just a punishment for them. He worked a lesson into it. So I give him big props for his innovation.
I'm going to tell you what this list tells me.
Yeah. It's
that unless you are a maintenance man at a rundown apartment complex at some point, you have no shot at being an effective sensei. That's really what, if you were a military person or a whiny teenager, you just are not born to be a sensei. That's what this tells me.
The maintenance men win.
I'm going to tell you honestly, up until season 4, I actually started feeling, I felt like Johnny really was the best sensei, even better than Miyagi.
Mm-hmm.
Because only from the standpoint of who wins. Because even though Miyagi, just like Johnny, both grabbed this young kid who was being bullied and quickly turned him into a champion in just a very short amount of time, even though they both did that, Johnny really took a bunch of kids and did that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many reasons why I felt like Johnny really made them not just win. Like Daniel won the tournament, but I don't know. Daniel won that tournament barely. You know, Daniel has a lot of barely wins that don't really count.
Yeah.
Daniel did a terrible job against Mike Barnes. I thought just awful. That win's not a win. Yeah. Mike Barnes is by far the better fighter.
Yeah.
So I feel like Miyagi goes into it fairly prepared to lose. He even said things to Daniel like, win, lose doesn't matter. You know, and Daniel's like, fuck you. Are you kidding me? I'm here to win. Yeah. I'll never have balance that way. Not with them, not with Allie, not with me.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like Mr. Miyagi never really fully put his heart in it. He always had a very zen attitude.
Yeah.
Whereas Johnny, up until season 4, was all about winning and had to win and was going to make them do anything. So I was going to put Johnny at number 1. However, because of the events of season 4, where Eagle Fang did not do very well and Johnny ended up alienating Miguel as top student, as champion.
Yeah.
Johnny made some really weird moves. I think because he flopped so badly at the end of season 4 for his students, then I got to say now, Miyagi would have never let that happen. So to me, Miyagi wins it for that reason.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Miyagi is clearly the best sensei. He's the most well-rounded. He's the wisest of all of them put together. Yeah. And he really, he draws on that to teach really important lessons, karate-wise and life-wise. So he deserves the number 1 spot.
Well, and so do we, because we did a nice job with this video. So everyone
hit the like button, please.
Subscribe, do the whole thing. We hope to see you all again soon. Let us know in the comments. Who do you think? Like, rank the top 5 or top 3 or whatever you want to do. But let us know in the comments, what you thought of our rankings. And
the voice of reason was right.
Yeah, okay. I do think it's interesting that we both put Johnny and Miyagi in the top 2 spots.
Yeah.
In that order. I thought that was interesting that we both did that. So we had actually pretty similar lists.
Yes.
So anyway, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Have a great time.